creating an innovative mindset, not an agile mindset. Now, I had to particularly mention that agile mindsets won't do. An agile mindset is a mindset which adopts to the current situation. An innovative mindset is a mindset which questions the current situation. And you might ask me, why is this so important? Remember, the fresh thinking that resulted in a company's initial success can often be replaced by a rigid devotion to the status quo. You might have heard company CEOs saying, this model has worked for us, why do we have to change this? Blockbuster asks the same thing, this model worked for us, why do we have to change it? But over time, the strategic frames that worked for you will become blinders. The processes and procedures that work for you can become routines. Your values can become dogmas. So you need to keep on questioning the status quo. So in other words, you need to have more Vuja day moments. Now I'm sure you're familiar with deja vu. Deja vu is this strange feeling that you get when you're doing something for the first time. You get this strange feeling that this has happened before. But Vuja day is the complete opposite. You do something very routine, something very familiar, but you get this feeling, this has never happened before. In other words, there is a degree of freshness to every routine thing that you do. It can be a routine thing like ordering a taxi. You stop and think, is there a better way of doing it? It can be a routine thing like paying your insurance premium. You do it every year, but you stop and question, why do I have to obtain insurance for my camera on days that I'm not using it? Why do I have to obtain insurance for my vehicle on days when I'm not using it? So emerges on-demand insurance. I'll quickly give you another example from the 19th century. Ice harvesting was big business. People go out, cut blocks of ice, bring them into the city, store it in ice houses. You can see an ice house. Then came the 20th century, the second revolution. People started manufacturing ice in factories. Then came the third revolution, invention of the refrigerator, where ice manufacturing shifted from factories into households. Now remember, none of the ice harvesters became ice factory owners, and no ice factory owner invented the refrigerator, because we are so focused on our core. I think most of the speakers spoke about this. We're so concerned about the core, we completely turn a blind eye to all the other opportunities that exist outside the core. So what do we do? I think the biggest barrier for innovative mindset is the organization's architecture, the organization structure. More than 50% of the millennials, according to the Deloitte's 2018 Millennial Survey, more than 50% of the millennials think that our organization structures do not provide a conducive environment for new ideas to grow. How many of you have heard of Jeff Bezos' pizza theory? Yeah? Jeff Bezos said, if a team cannot be fed with 2 pizzas, that team is too big. Our teams are too big. More than that, our teams operate in silos. They don't collaborate across departments. There is no cross-pollination, which is something very important for innovation. So I'll give you some examples later. All these points will be backed by a case study. Then looking at innovation as a minimum viable product. Now here, you can see the first set of pictures, an innovation process that does not add value until it reaches the end point. But you see the second set of pictures, every stage of this innovation process adds value. So this innovation process creates value. It makes employees happy at every stage. So it's a more gradual process. You keep creating value on the way. I'll come back to this again. Then, looking at innovation as an end-to-end process, you call this the innovation value chain, which was taken off the Harvard Business Review. Looking at innovation as a process so that you can spot issues, loopholes in your innovation process. Now, I'm taking you back into the organization structure. if you can see idea generation, there are three pillars of idea generation: internal idea generation, external idea generation, and cross-pollination. We focus a lot on internal and external idea generation. We completely forget cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is when organizations allow their teams to collaborate with each other and make new ideas. So I'll come to a case study from the company that I work for, Haley's Advantage. Haley's Advantage is the transportation and logistics arm of Haley's. Haley's is a large conglomerate in Sri Lanka. We are celebrating our 140th anniversary this year. So we have been stuck in the core of logistics. But last year we stopped and thought, can't we move out of this core and provide end-to-end solutions and thereby provide peace of mind to our customers? So as a result, we came up with two models. One is the end-to-end project management model. As you can see, the red highlighted area is our core. We already operate in this core. But we question, why can't we move into construction? Now remember, construction is modular construction today. So the logistics provider has a bigger role to play in modular construction. Why can't we move into buying in lobbying and funding where the real money is? So we actually tested this model in Myanmar, where we erupted telecommunication towers for a telecommunication company, where we front-ended the whole project. And we also laid overhead fiber optic cables. So we want to replicate the same model in other companies. You never know, by 2020, we might be a construction company. We just don't want to stick to one core. And then comes the second model, the most famous model, the e-commerce platform. We developed an e-commerce platform. Again, the three areas highlighted here, freight logistics, warehousing, and order fulfillment, are our core areas. So we operate in these core areas, and we become an enabler to e-commerce platforms. But by next year, we want to move into developing our own custom interface. We currently collaborate with another company to develop this custom interface. And we also want to move into last mile delivery. Now, I'm taking you back into that minimum viable product. Don't you think that this is a minimum viable product? We currently operate in the three core areas, but slowly and gradually keep on moving into adjacent areas, thereby innovating.